So hi, my name is Helen Joy and I'm a creative coach. I started out about probably 30 years ago. It was about the time when I decided I wanted to start becoming more creative in my life, and I went to the library and found a book, and that book was called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. I borrowed that book and I worked my way through, did all the exercises. I taught myself how to draw, which was just amazing. It was a really simple, easy process, and I thought, wow, this is just great that I can do this. So it was a few years later, my oldest daughter was in grade 6 at primary school, and the school was asking for parents to come in and be volunteer teacher aides in the different classes. So I put my hand up to be a teacher aide in their art class, and one day when the teacher was teaching the kids how to draw, they had to do, actually I'll do a little, I'll just do it in the air. They had to do a bird, and to do a bird they had to do a circle for a head, the oval for the body, and the triangle for the beak, that really symbolic looking bird. And I said to her, I said, are you going to be able to teach them how to draw the bird out there in the tree, because that bird is very left-brained. And she said, what do you mean by left-brained? And I said, well, that's a symbol for a bird. It's not a real bird. To be able to draw a real bird, that's using the right side of your brain, the visual side of your brain. And she goes, oh, no way. This is just textbook stuff only. So I said to her, I said, well, look, I've taught myself how to draw, and I think I could share some of my knowledge with these kids. So she got really excited and told the teacher in the classroom next door as well. So I ended up coming in twice a week and teaching these 2 different classes, about 30 kids in each class, and I taught every single one of them how to draw. So that was just amazing, and there was a lot of positive stuff, as well as teaching them how to draw. There was a lot of kids that had supposedly labelled with ADHD or Asperger's, or just troublemaker kids, and they all just settled down and they became really happy and really content, and they were able to do the work as well as tapping into their creativity. So then some of the parents started to ask if I could also teach them. And it was at that point in my life that I thought, well, okay, I need to get permission from the author of the book that I borrowed from the library. And so I did. I found her website and I contacted her through email, and I told her how I taught all these kids how to draw, and do I have your permission to be able to make a career out of this and teach more people. So she responded back to me within about a week, and she said, go for it. She said, teach as many people as you possibly can. She said the reason that she wrote that book in the first place was because it's every person's right to be able to express themselves creatively. So it was just amazing. So, from there, I put a few posters up on the walls around the place, and, had 5 or 6 people from my first class, and gradually built it up into just an amazing course. So I've now been teaching it for 10 years in Cairns. I've only just relocated to the Sunshine Coast recently. And yeah, it's just fantastic. Some of the benefits that people have from doing the course have been, the big one is stress relief. I do get a lot of corporate people coming in doing the course, and they're constantly, big corporations are constantly having downtime from staff, people going off on stress leave or stress related illness. So yeah, they do my course and they say to me, how amazing they feel once they've, just in a 2-hour session, they just calm right down. So, and I've had people that have been on very heavy antidepressant medication. They've been able to dramatically reduce, and even like later on down the track, been able to get off their medication completely. It's really good for stress relief. I've just said that. I'll delete that one out. It's really good for being able to sleep better, because your dreams come from the right side of your brain. So if you do some drawing before you go to bed, you're better able to sleep. It's also very good for, as I said, ADHD, Asperger's. It's really good for the elderly, because with all the neurons or the cells in your brain, they say that to keep them healthy, we need to do things that are complex yet enjoyable. So, and that's exactly what drawing is complex yet enjoyable. So very good for Alzheimer's and dementia. Okay, so the basic theory behind right brain, left brain stems back to 1976 when there was a psychobiologist by the name of Dr. Roger Sperry, and he had a patient who had very severe epilepsy, and basically he didn't operate, the patient was going to die. So he severed the corpus callosum, which is all the cables that connect the two sides of the brain together. The patient survived, and once he was recovered and they did experiments on him, they'd do something as simple as, hold up a pen, cover one eye. He was able to name what it was, but he had no idea what it was used for. So then they'd cover the other eye and he'd know what it was used for, but he couldn't come up with a name for it. So that was 1976, not that long ago. And that was the very beginning of scientists realizing that the two sides of the brain do have separate functions. Okay, so the left side of your brain is your analytical, logical, verbal side of the brain. It is definitely the more dominant side of our brains in our society as we live here. The right side of your brain is your creative, intuitive, visual side of your brain, and as I said before, it's also where your dreams come from. Over the years of doing different research and talking to different people, a lot of people say that your right brain is your unconscious, whereas your left brain is your conscious. And even more recently, people are saying that the right side of your brain is more your spiritual side, which I guess comes in relation to your intuition, that connection that we have. I can't say that that is true. I've got absolutely no idea, but I know it feels pretty good when you're working in the right side of your brain. So unfortunately, they don't teach us at school how to use the right side of the brain. No one, even though it's 1976, that was a number of years ago, they still have not embraced the importance of teaching creativity in the curriculum. Hopefully one day they will. So basically we go through school, we learn that it's not right to be wrong. So by the time we get to about the age of 9 or 10, we start to become critical of our creative ability. So by the time we get to high school, art is an elective, and if we've already become critical of our creativity, we won't choose to be artists or to take on those art subjects.